So that's really cool, but what about combat?
Combat, pretty crazy. We've updated the rules even recently for this edition. I'm super psyched about it, Jake.
All right, hit me.
All right, so usually in any kind of role-playing game, online or tabletop, you have this initiative system where you keep track of everybody's turns and it's very neatly ordered. This guy swings his axe, that guy casts his spell, that guy shoots his arrow,
Right.
Manticore goes, rah.
Right.
All of these things. And it's very, cut and dry. In the Epic of Dreams, we don't have any initiative system. Instead, we go through moments called bouts. And how they work is they have 3 different phases. So the first phase is everybody declares what they're going to do. Because in combat, in the fray, when danger is all around you, especially when you're a mortal human, your adrenal response is going crazy, and you only have split-second moments to choose your decision and stick to it, right? It's like everybody's got a loaded gun, and then in the moment, they all fire at once. This kind of style of the Epic of Dreams.
Right.
So how it works is everybody declares what they're going to do, and then after that declaration phase happens, the DM already knows what their monsters or enemies are going to do, right? So they move into the next phase called the resolution phase. And that's when you go through every circle check and you resolve all of the attacks and all of that stuff.
Okay, right. Mm-hmm. Okay, good.
So after you do that, after you declare everything that happens, then you resolve all of the rolls. Then there is the consequence phase. And that's when the last attack from the enemy is dealt. And then the narrator, the DM, they describe the aftermath of all of these actions happening at once. It sounds pretty crazy, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes it is really crazy, especially when you have larger combats.
Well, I know during the Three Skulled Saga, while we were approaching Lady Opal's tower,
Yeah.
there was some pretty crazy stuff going on.
It was like a football field with an elephant and all
there
these beasts.
Yeah, all these crazy stuff was going on.
It was wild.
Yeah, and it was fun.
Yes.
Because it happened really fast.
It happened very fast.
It did not take us, 3 hours to resolve that battle. It was just done. It was great.
The cool thing about the Basilisk Edition is that in addition to all of that very quickness, we've come up with this new sort of visual cue that's a mechanic in and of itself that makes it so that all of this chaotic, how do we define this one moment, all of it going off at once and give it some semblance of order. We call it the Circle of War. Yeah. You see a theme going. There's shapes and stuff.
Circles.
At any point inside of combat, either when it's just about to happen or when everything is chaotic, we sort of draw this imaginary circle right around the center point of where all of the most mayhem or violence is happening at once. So let's say you've got 4 knights and they're all fighting each other in the center. That's where the scuffle is taking place. Mm-hmm. You also have, let's say, in the back, a couple elven archers, and then on the other side, they've got a wizard, right? So with the Circle of War, through each of these phases, declaration, resolution, and consequence, they describe everything moving towards that circle. So if you're the farthest thing away, you're going to speak what you're going to do first. So if the wizard is the farthest away, he's going to be like, I send my familiar to go and do a thing.
Right.
And then after that, the archers say, okay, I'm going to thwip my thwips to thwip into the dudes.
Right in their thwip.
Yeah.
Right.
And then after that, all of the knights say, I'm going to cut him with my axe. Or his maul, because they're all wearing plate mail.
Right.
But this provides us a small semblance of order, at least for the conversational side of resolving these very chaotic, violent battle scenes. And I know I'm the guy talking about my own game, but the Circle of War is my favorite part of the Basilisk Edition.
It sounds great. I can't wait to try it out.
We're gonna.
Yeah.
Don't you worry.
Oh, I'm not worried.
All right. And the other thing about combat is most of it deals with your skills. So skills is the core bit of your character's meat and potatoes of their sheet.
Everything.
So if you're Goku, you have martial arts. Combat skill is 5. In order to make an attack, you'd roll with your martial arts. And that's kind of how it goes forth.
Right.
There's a couple other bits about combat, but that's the main stuff, Jake.
Right on. Sounds good.
You know what we didn't talk about, though?
What did we not talk about?
Magic.
All right. Let's jump into magic.
Yeah. So, magic. In the Epic of Dreams, we are all about lore. We're all about mythology and world building and storytelling and drama, right? So we've made our magic system such that you can port in, just like the rest of the game, it's setting agnostic. You can port in any kind of magic system into the Epic and it will work.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You just do whatever you want.
No.
No.
You can't do it whatever you want. So you know how we were talking about order class before?
Right.
So the main thing about order class is that it determines your limits based on your size, right? So like if you're a man, you're a man?
Sure.
You can carry an amount of stuff that a man could carry.
Okay.
Like I don't know, how much can you deadlift?
Probably like 275.
Sure. We're going to say that's an average, right?
Okay.
Or we know you're a little bit above average, but anyways.
275 is not a good
Okay, I don't know. I don't lift. So imagine, if you would for a second, that an elephant could deadlift.
Okay, an elephant could deadlift a lot.
A lot more, right?
Yeah.
So comparatively, you have a certain limit, whereas the elephant has a lot of different limits. Elephants are order class 4, for the record. And with magic, every caster, every mystic as we call them, they have this artificial order class that determines the limit of their measure of power. And it's called the measure of power.
Right on.
Yeah, so how it works is you divide your mystic skill reach by half and round up, because that's the most math you'll ever do in the system. And that's how you get your measure of power.
Right on.
Whenever you cast a spell, you'll spend vigor up to that measure of power, and then that determines its limits, right? And then after that, you don't roll once, but you roll 2 times to determine what effect actually takes place. So in a lot of role-playing games, there's this sort of trope called save or suck. Do you know what this is?
I've heard.
Yeah. So it's whenever you have a spell result where they either make their saving throw or they don't. And there's a binary outcome. It either happens or it doesn't happen. They either make their saving throw, or they suck and the spell effect happens, right?
Gotcha.
So in this system, we have 5 different modes that every single spell can do. It's called Exceed, Succeed, Strange, Fizzle, and Backfire. So you spend the first roll to determine whether or not the wheel on the second roll will be among those results. So anything can really happen. And the thing is, between both of those rolls, you don't just say, I cast my spell, because that would be boring, right?
Right.
A lot of role-playing games these days, they sort of treat magic like a gun. Magic is a lot more than that, right? There's so much wonder. Pew! Yeah, you got me. Boom, yeah. I'm dead.
Cool.
Wow, so magical.
Cool.
Magic. Yeah, whenever you cast a spell, you'll sort of describe all of the stuff that you're doing to make the magic come alive, right? So if I'm like an alchemist, then I'm going to be working my beakers, pouring this liquid into that liquid, a puff of smoke comes out, and then finally the elixir has been forged. And you sort of go through that process.
Right.
And just like with ardor and hubris, if you tell a good enough story while you're going through that, you might impress the MUSE and be like, oh, that's really cool.
Right.
You could overturn the first roll to make it so that your result is better for the second roll.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and these are the core basics of the game, but all the rest of the details, you really just learn them as you play. They come about, like Jake, you know. Tell them.
I knew nothing about it going in, and now I know something about it. I know enough to play the game.
Yeah, and you've been playing really great on our podcast. Awesome. Well, that's your crash course into the Epic of Dreams. Jake?
This is a very, very immersive game, and it really brings the best of you out. And it just brings all your energy out, you know, and all your creativity, your imagination, it just poured out onto the table, and everyone's having a great time. I had a great time doing it. I can't wait to play it again. It's great. So, yeah, buy it.
Thanks, Jake.